Welcome to Fishing Squad. Well, I'm back from North Wales, absolutely done in. Been up and down vertical cliffs all weekend, been like a mountain goat, absolutely. My legs are sore as hell, body's aching, carrying loads of gear up and down cliffs, absolute killer. So we'll start this video off a bit differently to normal. It is like the follow-up video to the session where we just had some bass. So if you've seen that, that'll be the previous video to this. It might not make sense, it might not follow any particular order. But we arrived at North Wales on Friday. We had a little session on the rock mark before the sea blew up. Also a bit of a fresh wind come through up to about 30 to 40 mile an hour. We fished at the sort of start of that as it was starting to pick up we fished it up to about 20 mile an hour, 25 mile an hour. We didn't have much on the deep water rock mark we picked. We had plenty of pollock. I had a reasonable one, about £2. Then we came back up. This was all on the back of a night shift as well, by the way. I've drove through to Wales, gone fishing. Came back up, nipped out, went and had a couple of beers in the pub, and then we got up the following morning and we tried to get access to a different mark. Very overgrown, really vertical cliffs. We managed to get on a ledge, and then we had the brilliant session that we had on Saturday. Bass, huss, lawns, pollock, etc. on lures, and a couple of fish there on baits, from a couple of huss each on baits. So I'm going to put some snippets in now of that up to there, and then we'll follow on with what happened yesterday. This is the pollock, not the biggest. Not bad. Considering how tough the session was. Mackerel was that. So as the session progressed, the sea started lifting some. Time to get off and knock it on there for today. The rain did come as well later in the day, so it reminds me. Let the storm pass through, or mini storm if you like, pass through, and then crack on with the following session, which you've already seen. The effects of being up over 30 hours after doing the night shift, driving through to Wales, then going fishing. Absolutely cream crackered. Look like a right animal, don't I, sleep in this chair. Look at the size of that gut on that. Let's get on with the fishing.
Okay, now. First time in 2 years.
I don't know where mackerel are, that's trouble.
Leave that to you bag in a bit.
yeah. I like a strong
Top fishing guide.
yeah. And struggle to get my own fish, never mind for the clients. Yeah, I'm on it.
Definitely put you on mackerel.
Yeah, you have now, you've dug that mark out for me.
On top.
On top, we're on him now, you've dug that mark out for me. Be interested to see what shows up on there, won't it?
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
To what? To Martin Mears when the You've got enough subscribers, haven't you? See how it goes tomorrow, mate, innit?
You're meant to say it next week.
What?
Like and subscribe to
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Kane Guiding.
Blankers, fucking wankers,
Guiding.
whales, shit fucking fishing.
Yeah. That's today's work. Shit. So that it was on with this session that you've already seen in the previous video. Just a quick rundown, brief clip of it. Check out the previous video. So this was how things matched up in sequence for the weekend, so to speak. So it fits into the storyline of the video, etc. Stunning session that. Thought we'd have another go before the day here. Welcome to Fishing Squad. Well, Martin's, we've just got down on the mark. Martin's put the feathers on, just tackling the big bait rod up. Got just a 4 foot rig body-ish, 4 or 5 foot rig body, short wide bite end. I don't bother putting the extra swivel in, don't like it. It's never made a difference for me with anything. So on the end of the bite end, we've got 135 pound wire. The back hook is a Sakuma Kong hook, really strong hook, probably one of the strongest hooks I've come across then. Then we've got a 6.0 Shaughnessy on the bottom, up in the splashdown. He's been feathering, he's all in pollock one after the other. So we've got pollock that's just about legal size, but we're going to put it on whole, basically. We've got my Ron Thompson accelerator, we've got 8 ounce lead. We're just going to fish big on this rod.
I've got my Grazer Iron as well, which I'll fire out later with slightly smaller bait on. These Ransops accelerators, you can just load them up. Really good rod for big bait fishing. I don't know what you casting gurus think of them, but for rock fishing, they tick all the boxes. So we're just going to snip his tail off quite high up. We're going to actually just snip his eyes, across his eyes on his head. He yells you a bit squeamish, look away now. We're going to whip a load of elastic up his body. I don't like the size, shape of a pollock because they're quite broad across that bit, and it just doesn't sit right. So if you whip some elastic across his gut sack and like across most of the fish, if you like, all the way down him, it does just slim him down a bit. Prepping him for the sharks. He's literally just been caught. He's still twitching. So we're just gonna. It just narrows him up a bit. In fact, I think what we'll do, once we get to his gut sack, we're gonna just keep the elastic on him, tie it off. I don't like how broad he is. I mean, really, you could do with smaller ones, but it's illegal, isn't it? To kill them smaller ones, really. Even though I'm sure people do it. Just trim a bit off him just to make him a bit narrower. And go over that with some elastic. This elastic is just to squeeze the bait down a bit, as well as give us something to sink our hooks into if the elastic doesn't snap. Just gives us something to really work with the hooks. So it's going to be a really big bait for these 6.0s, the 2 6.0s then, but I'm not bothered. If we get one on, we'll probably have to let it run a bit, but we're trying to get a run on this mark. It's the second session on this mark, new mark to us both. It's fished really well yesterday. I don't think it'll be as good as yesterday because they've got bright sun and a calm sea now, but you never know. So with this one, some people have various ways of baiting up. I'm just going to put 2 hooks in his back where it's bony and tough. So I'm just going to go in with one out there. Actually, I've just got a little trick that I want to do. Just give me a second. Give us a sec. This really does help with that bottom hook, keeping it proud. So, really not very comfortable on these rocks, as you can imagine. So we're getting back. Just take that hook back out a minute. Right. Get a bit of wire or a paper clip. Just whip it onto that hook through the eye, along the shank. It's a really good tip, this. Saves you a bit of bait elastic as well. So like that. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. Right, so we're going to spike him rather than sinking the hook in, because that bottom hook wants to be nice and straight like that. Get some elastic around that wire and that on the shank of the hook. So really lash it up. It is one hell of a bait, this, like. Really give it someone, just really excessively whip it on. If you have stuff, I ain't got, this is like medium bait elastic from Innova that I'm using here, and it's not bad actually. But the tough stuff's are better, the blue one. Come up now onto your wire. Right the way up. We're not messing about like today. I'm just going to keep a big bait on one rod, full pollocks, and then I'm going to fish a smaller bait on the other, like a dongle with a head, possibly. So maybe we end up using a full body section of pollock, but I think you're better off putting the head on because it does have a lot of, even though I'm penduling it on, it does have a lot of juice in the head and blood, doesn't it? Whereas the rest of the body's quite dry. So tie that off. And for the back hook, we are going to twist it round the wire, I think. This is the first time I've used these Kong hooks, by the way. Just going to twist it round the wire and cinch it in there. I'm hoping that wire will hold that hook in place with minimal elastic. So I'm going to put a little bit of elastic around the eye. Just pull it down a bit more. Yeah. And that's what we're going to send out. That is one hell of a bait like that, to be honest. But just try and make sure that hook doesn't twist. I'm actually quite happy with how that's sitting, to be honest. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. But I might just add a little bit. Yeah, we'll add just a little bit. The trouble is sometimes the hooks are difficult to manipulate and they do twist a little bit. You don't really want them doing that, do you? Yeah, so we'll come all the way up. It might be just a little offline with the other one, but it won't matter as long as it's not too. As long as it's not turned into the flesh on the bait, it'll be alright. So, oh, losing it. I might just need to trim a bit off the back. Just make sure a bit of a. And that's going to be as good as it'll get, I'm afraid. It's not bad. I'll trim the last bit of that pollock off, so I haven't got any elastic around it. It's just causing a few problems. So that's it. Swim bladder's come up there as well. Cut that off. Then we'll give that a spike with a grip lead before we fire it out, and then we'll see if we can get something on it. But that is a hefty bait, hopefully for a hefty fish. We'll see. Been snapped off, we think, by a bass. He took his jig, I think. I've got 2 rods out. I've had a few casts with a jig with feathers on, and had one hit. I think it was a pollock. Didn't connect with it, so I've got a big rod out. That's closer to us. The other rod's got a. What you got, Martin? Had lawns? Lawns, yeah. He's got a lawns. Look, you can see. Nice one. So the farthest rod away, he's got baited feathers on with squid. Just to see if we can catch something different, maybe. I'm not going to say what. We haven't had one out this weekend. It's not a dogfish, by the way. It's something else. Yeah, the species I'm actually after, I'm going to tell you, it's black bream. I reckon there's a chance of getting black bream off here. Could probably do with some worm. I've got a couple of thumbnail bits of squid on them, on the baited feathers. I might change it to a bit of lawns, actually. I'll put lawns on 2 and I might put limpet on 1, because I think there should be some ball and wrasse about easily off here in these conditions. Rod tip stayed motionless at the moment, so we'll try that, like I say, and we'll see what happens. I'm going in with a slither of lawns, a limpet, and a slither of lawns. Limpet, I've just put a bit of elastic over that black bit, because that's the bit that the wrasse seem to like. Don't seem bothered about the rubbery foot of them, so we'll see. I think we'll get a bite on this. Mark, we've probably got to put the jig back on. Not a bad one. Probably keep it for bait, to be fair. Not been so good, guys. Got fresh pollock on, baited it up again. Got 2 dongles on now, one with big pollock head, one with pollock section. I'm actually just getting a bite, actually. Just had a little nod on the pollock section. Just crying for one at reels to scream off. Now we've got a kelp bed in front of us about 30 yards, and it goes on to clean sandy. You're just hoping that a taupe comes past and picks your bait up. That's what we're relying on. We don't like much of a bite. I've had a spider crab as well. I'm good at catching them. But the weather conditions are completely different today. It's a lot calm. We've got northwesterly on our left-hand side. It's sort of kind of sheltered from. The sea's flattened off. It's just turned to come in. And there's just no flow, no white water like we had yesterday, which I think were key for the bass. We're not picking up as many pollock. We've had a few pollock. Well, I've only had 1, actually. That's all I've caught. Martin's had probably half a dozen on the lawns. It's tough. No bites on the bottom. I've just had a little nod. But I've got a 10-0 circle hook, and I'm basically just all out for a tote with dongles, aren't I? Although you can hook us on them, but you're certainly not fishing for small stuff with a 10-0 circle here. So we'll just see what happens. But you just want one of the reels to just liven up a bit. Yeah, it looks like it might be a huss this actually, possibly. I'm just going to monitor it a bit. It's just gone a little bit again. It's not like a real good bite. It's on pollock section where the gut sack is. I've just cut like a 1.5 2 inch section, body section, and put it on. It had some of the guts in it as well, so, and it was stuffed with sand eels. So it's like a bit like a Sunday dinner, isn't it? With stuffing. You just want it to just scream off. You're getting a little bite. It'll take a bit for even for us to get that bait down. So we'll give it a bit of time. Not worried about letting it develop with it being a circle hook. So we'll see what happens. But we fished yesterday. Martin had fresh mackerel, obviously. I had fresh pollock. We both had 2 us each. You know, it's difficult to not have confidence in pollock because if you fish it alongside mackerel and it's relatively equal, I just think Huskus are more scavengers. They're more like techie, but people do get taupe on pollock, don't they? There's a couple of things, isn't there? Fish, crabs, homing slower on pollock, so it fishes for longer if you are fishing for taupe. But then has it got enough scent in it to be as successful as what fresh mackerel would be? I prefer mackerel all day long, to be honest, but we just can't catch any. Probably should have gone on a different mark today in hindsight, but hey ho, that's how it goes, isn't it, basically? We'll see what happens anyway, see if this bite develops. There's a bit of seagull activity, a few gannets circling, but they're really far out. So there's obviously some bait fish out there somewhere. Just need them to come in. Maybe as the tide pushes in, they'll come in and it will be time for us to go by then. So we'll see what happens. Whole session, this one, completely different ball game. I think Martin might be into us. We'll go down and have a look in a minute. But can you see how calm it is? And it's a lovely day. I must have dropped it. I think he's dropped his casing. It's a lovely day. It's flat calm. Every time he's took out, you're not getting banged or hit or anything like what we were getting yesterday. I just don't know what to do for the last couple of hours. I don't know if to concentrate on the big baits or what. It's a lovely mark, this. Really, I hope like it a minute. Look at that. Tasty. Martin's just to my right, or about 100 yards to my right. Yeah, it's a tough one. Tough one. This has certainly been. It's taught me a few things that I already knew, but wanted a chance. But nowhere near as good as yesterday. We know 2 tides don't fish the same. But it's really fished dramatically different to yesterday. Yeah, it's been a real struggle. Real struggle. I've got to go back to Doncaster a bit anyway, so got another hour or so. I'm going to go back, put some fresh baits on my big baits, my big bait rods, and have one last shot at it, I think, on the bottom, and chuck feathers about if I can. Can be bothered. We absolutely killed ourselves yesterday, which didn't help. We've got some scramble getting back up here behind me. It's a right scramble. It's actually more vertical than it looks. So, yeah, it's a tough old game, this fishing sometimes. In hindsight, we should have gone elsewhere, but it is what it is. If we'd have gone elsewhere and had the same result, should have come back here, shouldn't we? But you've got to give it another tide, haven't you? So there's definitely with the mackerel, there's definitely something in it. I knew there was anyway. You know, we're still fairly low down with the size of the tides. I think we're just increasing. We'd have probably got some mackerel if we went elsewhere. But hey ho. Keep biffing the pollock out. And hoping for the best. Right, I'm going to go crack on the rest of the session. We'll see what happens. That's been tough. Managed to get one. God, I had a couple drop off as well. It's like they didn't want the lures or the feathers. It's definitely tidal, this, 110%. They were like nibbling at it rather than taking it. Yeah, so we've got fresh mackerel now. We're going to put a dongle on one rod, pennel on other with tail section, dongle head on this one. Going for head and shoulders. Head and shoulders, Martin. We'll give Martin a bit of mackerel as well if there's any left. Just going to dongle this up. Oh, Oh man, just the bloody mackerel is just superb, isn't it? Through the bottom jaw, bit of elastic. So we're there, bit of elastic, just elasticate it up. I'm going to do this really quickly. In fact, I'm going to knock the camera off, guys. I need to get this out. We're back on in a bit. Dongle dead's gone out, and that's my tail section. I leave the tail on, never had a problem with it. Cut, taupe on that, no problem. No problem at all. Let's get it fired out, try and get a taupe. I think that means it's the end of it for this weekend. Dogfish. No good really. Got it put back. Disappointing that. I was hoping it was going to be a huss. Felt like huss in the tide pull. Oh well. Get it put back. Don't stick fresh mackerel out. Hooked a doggy on a 10-0 circle. Oh, that just proves that the dongle with small bait is quite effective. Martin's enjoying himself way too much. Male dogfish. So we had 2 bait ups of fresh. Sorry. We had 2 bait ups of fresh mackerel, 2 dogfish back to back. This sums the weekend up, that I think. It's been a cracking weekend, like. But we had a lot of species off here yesterday. It's a really good session. Today's been a slow one. Friday was a slow one. But without them mackerel, I just think you're struggling a bit. But we got into some mackerel, not many. And we've had plenty of pollock. We've had plenty of bait. But just ain't on to plan. We'll get this put back, and I think that'll be it, to be honest with you. I'll see you on the next one back in a couple of weeks. Got a Scotland trip soon, so bring it on. Let's go. Yeah, keep safe, tight lines, have a good one. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.
You look bollocks.
I am bollocks.
It's not that bad.
Look for that. That were hard, that, wasn't it?
Nah.
Harder than any other mark.